I want to get into this video today, and this is going to be a completely different one. Because for example, you know, when you're on social media, you're expected to be yourself. So when it comes to social media, the reason why you can't be 100% honest is because you don't know what's real and you don't know what's fake. So for example, people could say that they're happy together. People can only show you the highlights, but they don't actually show you every single moment of their day. Like how stressed they were. They wasn't showing you how everything was really set up. When it comes to me getting comments in my videos, I'm doing the right thing, whether I'm getting good comments or bad comments. Because getting no engagement in the first place, it means that what you're saying is not really relating to people at all. And I wanted to say, when it comes to positive comments, it means that you're actually helping other people. You're showing people what it is that you think about things. And you're showing people of how things could be done so it can be easier for them. When it comes to a negative comment, it means that what you're doing is something that someone else may want to do, but they're not doing it. And when it comes to negative comments, you realize that are those people posting themselves? But then also you have to realize that social media is for everyone, because you don't have to pay to actually get started on social media. You have to realize that as long as you have something to share, and as long as you're showing up for yourself, where you have a schedule that you want to post at, you have ideas of what you want to post, you realize that social media to actually begin is not really the hardest part. It's just keeping going that's really the hardest part, because not everyone wants to do it, not everyone wants to put themselves out there. And you have to realize why social media is a good thing, because it connects people together. You have to realize in your real life, you're not really talking to people every single day, but instead you're trying to keep to yourself. You're speaking to the people that you're so familiar with. And I'm speaking to myself as well, because when it comes to social media, you have to realize you're just talking to yourself. The only difference is that you hit record, but you're mainly talking to yourself, and you're just hoping that the message, it reaches to someone else. And what I wanted to say about social media, so you know when things come off as fake, it's because what you're saying, you truly don't believe in it. And you have to realize when you don't truly believe the things that you're trying to post, you have to realize that other people will see it, because they'll start to ask you questions, but you don't know the answer to it. And you don't even seem to put in as much time, you don't put in as much effort. When it comes to social media and you're trying to create something, you have to remember it's all about yourself. And you're putting in time, you're putting in effort. And if you put effort into making it appear fake, you realize that it's much better to make effort and make it seem real. Because even if people do like what you're doing and it comes off fake, you have to realize that you're going to get caught out eventually. But then also you're not really showing people who it is you really are, but instead you're showing people a fake version of you. You're basically showing people a version of you that you want other people to see and like, but instead you're not really being yourself at all. So that's what I'm going to say when it comes to being fake and real on social media. Another reason of why you can't be 100% honest on social media is because, for example, you know how I'm in this location now, and other people, they may be in a way better location. You have to realize if you don't have any time to yourself, you realize that social media can overwhelm you. All people need to do, whether they know you or not, is just to follow you. And you realize when it comes to social media, so many people have access to your life, and they can comment anything, they can tell you what to do. And you realize when it comes to social media, obviously you have things that you want to post, but then also you have to keep in mind about your audience. Your audience is people that want to follow you and have actually gotten to know you over time. But the only difference is when it comes to social media, you're going to get more support from people that you don't know versus people that you already know. Because people that already know you, they already have an opinion about you, and they've already seen you in real life. So no matter what it is that you do, you realize they're going to see you as that version of you when they first met you. And the thing is, I'll say this again, you're going to get more support from people that don't know you versus people that already know you. Because people that already know you, they may know that you're on social media, and then, for example, they may scroll past your post, but then when it comes to someone else that they don't really know, they want to know them a bit more. And I feel like the reason for this is because you have to realize that people always want to learn something new, people always want to meet new people, because the time that you're awake, someone else may be asleep. By the time that someone else is awake, you might be asleep. And you have to realize that when you're talking to so many different people, you have to adapt to their time zone. So when you're trying to adapt and you're trying to talk to new people, you realize that the hardest thing is that not everyone is the same person, and you can't think that everyone is the same person when you're talking to them. And I know this is very obvious, but hear me out. Because you know, for example, when you're talking to someone, you realize that they can remind you of someone else, either what they said, either how they look, either how they dress. And you realize when it comes to social media, you have to realize that some people are two-faced. And I'm going to say this because the person that you see online is not who they are in person. The people that are mostly honest and are not two-faced, they're the ones that are not really liked. So that's what I'm going to say, because the people that are not really liked on social media, at least some of them, you realize that they're not afraid to really be who they really are. And that's what I'm going to say, because when it comes to social media and you have a large audience, it's really hard to disappoint them. And it's really hard to not want to disappoint them, because you're trying to do everything you can to do what they like. You're trying to show up all the time. And if you have no content ideas, you're going to make anything to be content. So when it comes to really making content, you have to realize it's your own life. And you have to realize that, for example, people may say about romanticizing your own life, doing things that you actually want to do, even if no one's with you. Because you have to realize when it comes to content in general, you're just showing people how your day-to-day life is. And if you think you're boring, if you think you don't do anything, you're not going to show people anything. So you have to realize it's all about your beliefs and it's about your belief system. So that's what I'm going to say when it comes to social media, because no one else can do it for you. You may have the ideas, but you need to do it yourself. And you realize that even though people may copy your ideas, you have to realize they're not going to do it the same way you do. And they don't sound the way that you do. So that's what I'm going to say, because even if people do copy you, you have to realize they're not really you at all. So that's why it's really good to be inspired by people, but don't copy every single thing that people do. Another thing that I'm going to say when it comes to social media, you have to realize, I've been trying to say this the whole time, but I keep on changing the topic. So when it comes to really your location, you want it to be that you're in a location and then you post about it. Because if you're in a location at that moment in time and you're telling people where it is that you are, you realize that people that you've never spoken to, they're the ones that are going to meet you. And then you don't know how people are. And it's not good to judge people, but you have to realize that when you put yourself out there, when you're open, when you're so vulnerable, you realize that you're going to meet people that you've never really spoken to, and you don't even know at all if you're going to get on with them. So that's what I'm going to say, because you're going to meet so many different people, and you have to realize that not every single person you're going to get along with. Yeah, I just wanted you to see a little bit of what I was seeing as well. But when it comes to really social media, you have to realize the good parts about it is that you're able to capture the moment. But the bad parts about social media is that it can get so overwhelming. And you have to realize as well that when it comes to you revealing your location, you have to realize that some people would want to meet you right away. And some people you've not even heard of, some people you've not even spoken to before. And I'm saying this because when you post every single thing that you're going to do on social media, you have to realize that people are going to ask you questions, and they're going to ask you questions that you may not even want to answer. You have to realize that when it comes to social media, you can't be surprised when people start to invade your privacy, because the things that you show people, you realize that it's on there forever. So that's what I wanted to say, because you have to realize when it comes to social media, you have to realize that privacy is such a big thing, and you have more privacy when you're not on social media. Privacy is such a big deal because you have to realize that what you show people is so important, because depending on the type of content you do, you're going to meet that type of audience, and you don't want it to be that your audience, they don't respect you at all. Because if your audience doesn't respect you, you realize you're basically just doing anything for money. And you're wasting your time, not all the time, but you're wasting your time as well. I'm going to say this because when it comes to social media, you're going to make so many mistakes. And you realize that when you do make those mistakes, who's actually here for you and who's not. Because you're going to make mistakes in what you say. You're probably going to have to apologize to a few people based on what you say. And some people are going to take what you say completely wrong as well. And you have to understand that your content isn't for every single person that watches it. So that's why when it comes to really engagement, you realize that you may get a lot of views, but you don't know who really is going to come back and watch another video of yours. So wherever you can, try and make your life as interesting as possible. And you realize that every single day, even though you are doing the same things, you see something differently. So that's what I'm going to say when it comes to social media, because every single day you may be consistent, you may post the same things, but you realize people learn something different. That's very important, because every single day when you're going on your walks, every single day when you're going on your run, you may go on a late night drive. When it comes to social media, you might actually help people, but you have to realize that other people, they may not want to do anything themselves. So that's why you have to be careful of the people that you're talking to, offline but also online, because you don't want it to be that you're just giving people information, but you're not learning anything back. If you're not getting anything back at all, you realize that it's going to be one-sided. You realize that all people do, they just want information from you, but then they don't apply it to their own lives. And whenever I tell you to take care of yourself, to look after yourself, this is something that I would do even if the cameras wasn't really rolling. I'll go on a walk. And you want it to be that when it comes to your social media, that you actually help people. So the thing is, I'm not just doing this to help myself, but I'm also doing this to help other people. So when it comes to social media in general, you realize that every single person is going through something. It's just that not many people are willing to talk about it. Not many people are willing to put themselves out there. And I wanted to say, when it comes to you actually going through something, it doesn't mean be negative and to project what you're feeling onto other people. Because you have to realize some people are going through way worse. Some people, all it really takes is just watching one video and it will actually help them in some way. And I'm going to say this, when it comes to you being on social media, you have to stand for something. The reason why it's good to stand for something, because you have to realize that if you don't stand for something, you're going to do things that you may not want to do. So you have to realize that regardless of what happens and how long you've been on social media, you want it to be that you put yourself first and you do everything you can to at least take care of yourself. So that's all I really wanted to say. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in another one.